All right, and we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to have my friend and BTR legend, Bryanna Everitt. I didn't get it wrong this time. I got scalded up the first time, so I corrected it. But listen, welcome back to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
The honor is absolutely all mine. I'm excited to sit back down with you. And I told you this, when we first got together, it's going to be many times me and you go sit down and do this because we have a lot to talk about. And I get hit up all the time about how the women want to sign up for BTR. So before we get into the last couple races of 2025, and I say this to my same replies as always, like you just got to keep applying. The applications are open right now till December.
Yep. December 1st.
There you go.
So you have until then to get your videos together, submit. Even if you tried it before, do it again. We were chatting earlier. I was a third-time applicant. So, if you don't get it the first time, keep trying. You never really know. It's been life-changing. So keep going.
So on top of that, just real quick, run all the girls by are the women that's interested in doing the application process.
Yep. So I did actually look. It was crazy when they posted them this year. It's the first time in 4 years that I didn't have to apply. So it was like a great feeling, by the way. But yeah, I did go on to see, if it was the same. So it looked like it was the same as last year. They're looking for 2 2-minute videos. One, just a good summary of some of your riding, footage of you riding, whatever you can get on track, preferably. But whatever you have, whatever footage you have, doesn't have to be professional or anything. They just want to see kind of what potential you have. And then there's a separate 2-minute video just talking about why you want to do the program, what it would mean to you, get to know you a little bit. Just see how you'd fit with the program. Because a lot of times they're not looking for the best riders when they're picking the new girls. They're picking someone with potential, of course, but also someone that would be a really good fit for the program. It's 12 girls under a tent. We can't have, cat fights all the time. So it's also a little of that. So definitely looking for the right fit. Like I said, I was a third-time applicant this past year. Finally got in. I had all but given up hope because you don't get feedback either. That's the hard thing. Like, what did I do wrong? It's not always that you did something wrong. Sometimes there's just not enough spots. Sometimes they just thought someone would be a better fit for that group of girls. So just keep going, keep trying, ask questions.
Yeah, I think it would be a little encouraging if you at least got an email saying, "Hey, we got your application. We really appreciate it. Unfortunately, this time you won't be accepted, but please apply again next year, right? And we'll see you next year, right?" Like,
and I get why they can't do that. I mean, Scott, Rivo, there's too many applications to do that. I can't really speak from experience here, but I think if you get interviewed, which is like the next step of the process, they would probably tell you some feedback or why you didn't get in. I only made it to the interview last year when I got in, so I don't know.
But listen, I want to also kick that off with the 2025 season. I had you on. I want to say we only had 2 races left. Me and you talked about this before we went live.
Yep.
It was the Ridge in VIR. What was the last round? It was a real emotional weekend for me too, as well. But we'll get into the whole VIR. So let's take it back to the Ridge. A Ridge is a place that I've always wanted to go. I've never been to that racetrack. To me, it's one of the most amazing. Well, not the most. It's one of the, in my personal opinion, it looks like one of the better racetracks we have here in America. The layout, it's absolutely different than any other course we have. Of course, it's in Washington, so if you're close, you get the best seafood out there on the planet too, as well, right? But tell us your experience at the Ridge, coming into the Ridge. 2 rounds left, so you're 3 races into it because there's only 5 races last year. So you had 3 rounds under your belt, so you're getting kind of comfortable with the bike and how things are run with BTR, and also within Moto America with the tire stickers and the sprocket changes and all that stuff that goes along with it, right? Because there is a lot. So going into the Ridge, it's Lucy Blondell's one of her home track too as well. So everybody knew she was going to be strong there. But going into that weekend, did you approach it in any different manner than you did to the first 3 races?
So quick correction, there's only 4 rounds. So we had 2 races. That's okay. It's okay. Maybe it's more like, just so you know, I only had 2 rounds before. Yeah. So we had 2 rounds. We had Barber and Road America, Ridge and VIR. So going into the Ridge, so Barber and Road America, I don't want to say I struggled, but that bike's different. Everything's different, and you're drinking from the fire hose, racing Moto America. I'd raced before, I'd been around racing, but there's nothing that quite compares to like you're gritting up in Moto America and you're on TV. Like, whoa, it was a lot to take in, let alone bike setup and figuring all that out. So got 2 rounds under my belt. The Ridge was a brand new track for me. I'm in South Carolina, never been to Washington. That was my first time at Washington State at all. Gorgeous state, by the way. But I went into the Ridge a little bit with a different mindset than I went into Barber and Road America, because I had this really high, probably unrealistic expectation of myself, having been around racing for so long. And it was hard to adapt to that bike and adapt to the environment. But going into the Ridge, I didn't know the track. Before Road America, I was able to do some simulator laps, like car simulator laps to learn the track, but that wasn't on the sim. So I was just watching videos, hoping I could kind of figure out this really technical track. I'd heard it's a physical track. It's tiring. You got to be ready for all this stuff. So I would train accordingly to that, but really I'm just going in blind. Like, let's just see if I could figure out where I'm going fast enough. So I went into that round hoping I could start stronger, because I was, qualifying way back, like trying to increase or improve my qualifying position. So learn the track quicker, figure it out quicker, all that. That was my goal, but I also kind of went in like, I just want to have fun. So the first time I rode this track, I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's figure it out. And it was a blast. I know some people love the track, some people hate the track. I think a lot of the hate comes to do with some of the bumps in the pavement and stuff like that. I loved it. I love that. I think it might be my favorite track, and now I'm like, how can I get back to the Ridge? It's so far away. That definitely helped with my mentality. I couldn't quite get Lucy. She was my target all weekend. That's her track, though, so I knew it was going to be hard. But that was definitely up to that point of this season. That was my best performance. I was actually in the mix of like the mid-pack girls, whereas the other rounds I was the fastest new girl, but nowhere near that mid-pack. So just kind of all by myself. So the Ridge was a blast. We had 3 races, so 3 chances to figure it out. And I had 3 different experiences in every race, 3, who I was fighting with. So I was actually getting that race experience fighting with people for the first time. So that was awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And on that note, big shout out to Kara Knibble for winning your championship. You absolutely murdered it last season.
She crushed it.
I mean, I had her on the podcast before, and she told me straight up, she's like, I'm going to win the championship. And I was like, you go, girl. And she did exactly what she said she was going to do. And
she made it interesting, though.
She did, right? And ups and downs. But
Road America. I was like, oh, no.
That's the name of the game. It always don't go your way. That's part of racing. So moving forward from the Ridge, you girls come to my home track, which was VIR, and I love that place. It's an amazing track. Tell me your thoughts of VIR before we talk about the weekend.
So VIR was my chance. That's my track. I mean, I actually, it's funny. I don't consider myself strong at VIR, but I knew that track, and a lot of the girls hadn't. So Cutler had been there a lot of times because she's from around there. A few of the other girls had done a track day one-off here and there. But VIR didn't have bikes there for a while. So to a lot of the girls, it was new. So I knew I had at least that advantage going for me. I raced there the past 2 years. I was actually able to go with Azra in June this year. I think is when they did their round.
Yeah, so I had you first met.
Yes. So I had like a fresh experience on the track. Different bike, of course, but, just kind of working out some kinks of the track. And, yeah, it's a beautiful facility. You have the Doug sticker.
I did it just for this podcast. I was like, that's why I had to sit right now.
He's watching right now. He's going to be so excited. So everyone, my father-in-law comes. He's one of my biggest supporters, coming to all my race rounds, and he loves my little yellow scooter, and he just rides it all over the place. So we made stickers for him. But yeah, VIR, beautiful facility. I actually got married there, so like that place has a special place in my heart. Today's actually my anniversary also. So
speaking of that real quick, actually we got a good buddy, my Eddie K, says happy anniversary, y'all. Let's go. Yeah. So happy anniversary, you two.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, VIR it's my home track. I love VIR. It's a great place. It's a track you can't rest at. You're always left,
very
right, left,
physical.
right. The straightaway is not really a straightaway. You come out of 17B, it's to the right, and it barely straightens up, goes over a little crest, and goes back down to the right. It's an amazing track. To me, turn one was always the most tricky corner because it's like a double apex, but not really a double apex. And there's so many lines you could take through there and take out of there. It's it's super challenging, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And going into that weekend, was a super emotional weekend for me. I become friends with so many girls and the whole team, the whole family at BTR. So approaching that weekend, I told my wife, I was like, man, it's gonna be an emotional weekend for me. And she didn't like grasp it at first. And then when I told her, she's like, oh yeah, you're right. Some of the girls are leaving, new ones are coming
came
in.
early too. Like a lot of times the last round will be in September, and it was the first weekend of August. So it was so early.
It was full of emotions, happy for everybody, obviously. Proper mega weekend for sure. So VIR, talk us about, again, last race of the year. Did you was like, I'm coming in and kicking everybody's ass this weekend, or did you approach it like any other typical weekend?
I approached it like I know I can at least try to kick ass at first. I knew these girls are going to learn this track and, give me a run for my money. I didn't go in thinking I'm going to just like win every race. No. But that first practice session on Friday, well, let me rewind back there. The track walk alone. Walking the track walk, Freddie Spencer and Rybo kind of walk us through their approach to the track, whether or not they've been on them before, which I think they both had at VIR. But that was different. All the other track walks were tracks that I weren't very familiar with. VIR, I was like, I know this track. Everything he's saying, I'm like, I know that. Like, I got this, It was like, and the other girls are asking a bunch of questions, which is fine. I'm not here to, sabotage anyone. So I was helping them out where I could, but I never considered myself strong there. But it is a very hard track to learn. It's very technical. It's very short. There's a lot going on in a short amount of time. So first practice comes along, and this is a funny story that not everyone knows. I know there's a video somewhere out there floating around. Cutler's people were taking lots of videos. I go to roll out for the first practice Friday morning, and I drop my bike in the pits. Like the worst thing ever.
You're like, whoa.
Like I almost made it the whole season without miscalculating this. It was embarrassing. Not the first time, not the last time. I'm sure that will ever happen to me in my life. But yeah, first session, going out, see what I could do, how I compare, and I drop my bike. Get back on, breathe, get back out there, and I did the fastest lap of all the girls. So that was like, whoa, knowing the track here makes a huge difference. So I started out way stronger than I ever did before. So qualifying, I ended up qualifying third, which was my best qualifying by far in all the BTR rounds. I was always on the third row. Then all of a sudden I found myself on the first row. Our qualifying 2 on Saturday was wet, which I love the rain. It was fun, but nobody was going to beat anybody's qualifying time in that. So I ended up starting on the front row. It was amazing. Ultimately didn't turn that into a podium. I was so close a couple times, but I learned a ton. I'd never been up in the front like that riding before. So that was amazing. I went faster on the Royal Enfield than I ever did around that track, which is a little embarrassing. That's just like that bike should be way faster. And I'm just, I don't know. Something clicked that weekend and I had a blast. So I am very excited to try to repeat that at every round next year and really set the bar.
Oh, absolutely. It was, what a mega weekend, especially for all the girls there. There was a lot of hugs and crying going on behind the scenes afterwards. Me too included. I was up there sobbing with everybody else. So it was, it was definitely a magical weekend. It's an honor to be such part of a unique but proper mega program that we have here in Moto America, especially geared towards all the women, which I freaking love because you girls belong in the sport just like we do, right? So yeah, just being friends with everybody. It was a lot of tissues, but except for Kira, right? Because she was all smiles for miles and holding that number one everywhere she did. Yeah, right. So yeah, it was listen, 2025 was a proper mega year for all the girls at BTR. Everyone in racing, all my friends, period. It always don't go the way you want it to, but hell, this is racing. Well, we know it, right? So real quick before we get into 2026, that the GT 650 is the bike you girls are on with Royal
Yep.
Enfield. Since you raced the 400 you have behind you, just for the girls that are interested, maybe they're on a 400 or a 300. Some of them are 600s. Was it difficult for you to adapt to the BTR GT650 coming off of 300 or 400?
In some ways, yes. I will say this is the ZX4, so it's like 100% different. That's like a lot of the girls have the 300s and the 400 twins, which helps translate it a little better, I think, because it's more of a momentum bike. But from what they've told me, it's like nothing's like the GT650 really, unless you have another GT650, I guess. It's still, the way the shock works, like it just handles differently. So once you start going fast on it, you just have to treat it a little different. The biggest piece of advice I got from Miranda Kane, it almost doesn't matter what bike you're riding, it's not going to translate perfectly to the GT650. You're still going to have to adapt stuff. But if you could just ride the tracks on anything you could ride them on, at least you take one, learning the track step out. Nothing is perfect. But yeah, if you had to compare the 300s and the 400 twins, or you at least have to keep momentum on them. The ZX4 has a lot of power, so I can cheat it. So it doesn't translate perfectly. So I did have at first issues going back and forth between the two, or this one has an auto blipper. The GT650 does not. So I'm like, I have to use the clutch. Oops. Things like that. So you get used to it.
You do. And listen, again, I'm proud of your whole season. Obviously I watched you the whole season coming into the season. I pay close attention, especially to the first timers that come in, right? Because I love to see where they start at, how they get along with everybody, how they adapt to actually working on their own bikes, being in the paddock, and also translating that out to what they do outside on the track too, right? Which is just as important. And seeing the progression you made from the beginning of the year to the last round at VIR, it's nothing but applaud. You did a proper mega season. Again, it didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you also, by the way our conversation is, even our first conversation, you at least achieved some of the goals you set out to do, right? You went faster at every track you went to, every session you went out, your lap times always increased, which is a positive sign. It'd be different if you got out there and just hit a wall and it's like, I just can't go any faster, right? Then you'd have some issues. But week in, week out, you showed up and you kicked ass, right? So
Thanks.
Super proud of your season in 2025. 2026, man, the year goes by so quick. I mean, it went like this. It's middle of October, towards the end of October already.
Towards the end, yeah.
Halloween's getting ready to come up.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what are you guys going to be for Halloween?
So my local bar, actually one of my sponsors, Schooners, they do a Halloween party. They're doing it this Friday though, so we had to figure out our costumes quick. If anyone knows Kim Possible from Disney, I'm going to be Shigo because my friend's going to be Kim Possible. I have no idea what Josh is going to be. He's going to be whatever he finds last minute, like he always is.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My wife here the past couple of years has been picking out my outfits for me. I was like, why can't I just be a podcaster, right? I just wear my outfit, get my little mic, set a little table up, interview the little kids as they come up, right? Like, hey, buddy.
One year, he waited so long that he dressed like a motorcycle racer and just wore his leathers. I'm like, that is the laziest thing you could have done.
I'm guilty of that too, for sure. Because it's easy, right? I just throw it on them. Comfortable, let's go, right? So yeah, I want to get to a couple of these comments real quick. So we got my buddy Dan Spalding. He says they are looking for people who are good in front of the camera and not shy. I mean, that's part of, I'm sure, part of the process they use to pick. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but
I don't know either. They give me they always say they look for a good fit, but they don't tell us the little
what the fit is
of what they're looking for, But yes, and that and they are trying to build a grid that's competitive.
Yeah.
No disrespect, Michaela Moore crushed it in her years. She was so far ahead of the pack. They're trying to balance it if they can. You never know what you're gonna get, but
you don't, right? And I'm sure they look at your social media posts and all that to make sure you're not cray out there and all that.
Yeah,
baby mama drama and all that stuff goes along with it, right? So, yeah, I'm sure it's a unique process that they use to go through. So,
yeah, I don't envy that job. I'm sure it's very hard to pick.
Yeah, I don't envy that job neither. I'd love to be part of it, which I am, but I don't envy it at all, right? Eddie K says, looking good with that tan, Chris. Look, thank you, buddy, man. I missed you this year at the races. Me and Eddie actually hung out at Daytona in March. It was an honor to get the invite by him to help him and his team out, which I really wasn't no help because I was going to go in for wrist surgery. So I had a brace on all that weekend, so I couldn't really do much. He said he just wanted
for moral support.
That's what he said, dude. Just bring the positive vibes and energy and let's go. So it was, it was an amazing Eddie, dude. So we went out to the beach. I ended up wearing one of his jackets. Accidentally took it home. It took me several months to send it to him, but I did stick some Pendergast podcast stickers in his jacket when I mailed it to him. Just say, hey, here you go. Sorry. Yeah. So, but Eddie's absolutely amazing. I met him several years ago, but the first time me and him actually met in person was at Wisconsin last year at Road Americas. That's where he's based out of, somewhere near Wisconsin. So, which is a beautiful track.
I can't remember when I met Eddie. Sorry, Eddie. I don't know if you remember the exact year. It was a long time ago, flat tracking, when he dabbled in that. So we go way back in some way. It's cool that we're both road racing again. So.
Absolutely. Eddie's that dude for sure. And we got a buddy of mine, Cahill. What is up, my man? So I met him at VRR. He's it's such an honor to do what I do and walk around and meet people that, we're friends on Facebook, but when I get to meet them in real life and, they tell me they're such a fan of the podcast, it blows my mind. And it's nothing but love for you, Cahill, for real. You're an absolute amazing human being. I wish I had some stickers on me that weekend because I would have hooked you up for sure. So he says, looking handsome as always, Chris, interviewing another legend I see. Absolutely. And right back at you, baby. You're mighty cute yourself, right? Let's go. So listen, again, 2025 is over. Well, not yet. BTR season's over, but we did go to Azure. We just got back, me and you, at Daytona, right? I went there and actually commentated the races with my buddy Kenny Abbott. Got the phone call to come out there. Super nervous going in there. I'm not gonna lie. It was
great.
It was. I know.
All over the microphone at all. You're good.
I appreciate it. It was different, but again, it was such an honor to be able to do it and do all the interviews to all my friends out there. I had it was one of the best weekends I've had at my life at the track, hands down. Awesome. It was just super amazing. Again, thank you guys and girls so much. Everybody that was out there at Azure, I'm proud of each and every single one of you. Again, it's the Race of Champions. I know it didn't end up the way some of you guys wanted and girls wanted it to, but for the others, it did. It is racing, but again, it don't mean I'm no less proud of you. And it was just such an amazing feeling to do the post interviews. And I got to interview Bodie Page, which won the AMA Nikki Hayden Horizon Award. I had no idea I was going to do that or be part of it. When they told me,
at you first time announcing at a race and you did it at Daytona at this level, like
right. And then I got to do the Horizon Award. I was like, I had goosebumps everywhere. All these super chills. Ray, the preacher there, the Chapin. Sorry. I went up to him and gave him a big hug. I was like, dude, I just want to break down and cry. Like, I'm so emotional right now because it was just such an honor to be able to do that. I had no idea. Again, dreamed in a million years I'd be doing this, much less have the opportunity to do that. But an amazing weekend. Thursday, I showed up the track. I straight ran into you over there by the Blue Garage.
By the Pirelli. Yep, Blue Garage is right by Pirelli. Yep.
Always an honor to see you. Gave hugs, chatted for a minute, and then I was back at work at the track on Friday. It was an amazing. So real quick, talk us about your Azure race weekend. It was the weekend of champions at one of the greatest, the Mecca of the greatest place racetrack we have in America. And for those that don't know, real quick, it actually became super popular. It wasn't popular like it is now. When Giacomo Agostini come over here, I want to say it was the 80s off the top of my list, maybe the late 70s, and actually won and went back and brought his friends from Europe over here. That's what really blew Daytona up and made it this huge event that it is now. And that's the Mecca of motorcycle racing here in the United States, right? So going into this weekend, I know your husband rode.
The intention was for both of us to ride, yes.
All right. So coming into this weekend, tell us how your weekend went.
Well, this was not my first time at Daytona. It was my second time riding. So at least it wasn't my first time on the banks. if you have never been to Daytona, make it. It is a bucket list track. There's nothing quite like riding on the banks, especially if you get the chance to walk the track and you realize you're riding on a wall. It is so steep. So do it if you haven't done it before. But yeah, going into this weekend, been racing Azra because getting race experience between BTR rounds is fantastic. You know, that's what got me into it. You know, always, if I'm at the track, I want to be riding if I can. Took the ZX4, did my practice sessions on Friday. I didn't actually have any races on Friday, so just practice sessions, kind of dust off some cobwebs, get familiar with the track, figure out my bike. We changed a lot of suspension on it. Trying to apply what I've been learning in BTR to my own personal race bike, so figuring that out. Saturday morning practice comes along. I fly into turn 1. I'm like, I'm going to push my brake marker later. It's time to, get that lap time that I'm planning on getting. Go to shift down. I don't even know how to explain the sound that happened. Not again. Clutch problems, Kawasaki. I don't know. I've had that clutch apart so many times this year. So I assumed it was just something in the clutch. I've done a lot of modifications. But it kind of locked up for a sec. I can't believe I didn't crash. But then circulating around, I got to get the bike back in. Something's not right. You could just hear something clanging. Something wasn't right. Not a good feeling. Came back in the garage, helped my husband with his stuff, whatever you need to do. And I'm like, okay, time to tear into the bike again. It's always a good sign when you're having to lay your bike down to tear the clutch apart again at the track, whatever. So you don't have to drain the oil. Very familiar with this process now.
I was there to witness that at VIR when I went over there. She was
I did it
there
too. Yeah. Sorry, Kawasaki. It's just, it's a common thing.
That's where I got this from.
Yep. Sir Mr. Doug is what he likes to call himself. So, but yeah, so took the clutch apart. Wasn't anything obvious. Darn it. Ended up putting it back together enough that I could pick it up, drain the oil. Took the bottom pan off so I could see in there. There's little tiny bits of metal in the oil. It's not what you want to see, but I couldn't find anything obvious. Nothing obvious. I'm like, okay, got my GTL race today. I'm going to put it back together. See if, just put it back together the proper way. Maybe something was just off. Put new oil in it. Got it going. It was, easier said than done. It was hard. Got it going just in time for GTL. I had Josh test ride it around the pits because I'm notorious for dropping my bike around the pits. So I had him test ride it around the pits, and it was just not right. Something's not right in the transmission, or I hope it's the transmission at least. So yeah, I was like, I can't ride this thing. It's going to lock up and kill me and someone else. We can't do that. So season ender, it's okay. I get to learn all about motorcycle transmissions, probably the next month I'll tear it apart. So, silver lining. Funny, the whole time this weekend, my BTR mechanic, Scott Dawson, was there.
Mom made my dinner, but I'm not hungry right now. So
okay.
He told me to leave it on the table, and you're going to eat it.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. When I get done, we'll go to the store and we'll eat.
Yeah, but you're eating my sandwich. So
I'll eat your sandwich. No problem. I appreciate it.
Because I'm not hungry.
Okay. Thank you. You going to say hi?
Hi.
This is my, Rossi, my mini me is what I call him. Exactly just that. I don't know how the circles happen. I was just telling her before we went live. For some reason, it circles this time, so it actually looks like we're looking through binoculars on our end. So, I've already tried. I'll fix it later. I ain't worried about it right now. We're good. You want to say hi to everybody?
Try that. Click that.
Look, if I click this, it just changes the layout.
Oh.
See?
Now I'm gone.
So zesty.
See? That's all it does.
Why is it so
I don't know. But we'll get to that. Let me finish this interview, Bubba. So anyway, yeah, it was Azra was again an amazing weekend, and it's always good to be at Daytona. It's such a magical, unique place, right? And I tell people that when you go to Daytona, it's a lot bigger than it looks on TV. And your bike setup's not going to translate to anywhere else. But my man Gabriel De Silva was on his New Jersey setup and came there and cleaned the house pretty much.
Yep.
First time there, 4 race wins. Man, I was absolutely so excited for him. Rossi, shut my door, buddy. Sorry about that. I'll edit that out.
Happens all the time.
With Rocky, it always does, right? Thank you. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I was about to say though, just want to throw this out there for anyone that is interested in the program. My BTR mechanic Scott Dawson was there working for another team. So when he knew I was doing all this to my bike, he'd pop in, help out, give advice if needed. But I'm hoping I impressed him. I had that thing torn apart and back together. Didn't work, didn't fix it. But other than that, like I think a year ago, I don't know. Looking at myself a year ago, I would not have been able to do that as quickly and effectively as I did. So the program works. You're going to learn a lot.
Absolutely. It's again, it's absolutely an amazing program. It teaches so much, not just about the race weekend, but the mechanics, how to work on your bike, what it actually takes to do a Moto America event, the time schedules, the amount of time you have in a certain time period to change the tires, get the tire stickers and the warmers, and
the whole hurry up and wait thing. Getting used to
hurry
that.
up and wait. Exactly what it is in Moto America. But again, I guess now the 2025 season is pretty much over with the close of Azure Race of Champions. It was so again, big shout out to all my friends out there. It was an honor to see each and every single one of you. I got to see two of my good mates from the UK, Danny Webb, which I'm super excited. He's coming on the podcast. My other buddy, Johnson, he's an absolute legend. He's an older guy, but an absolute legend of the sport, legend at the TTs at Isle of Man TT, Rider Northwest BSB. So yeah, it's freaking amazing. That whole weekend just went by like that. And here we are, right? So going into the 2026 season, now that you got your first year under the belt, you're familiar with, the program as far as BTR, but also Moto America. So the nerves coming into this season is not going to be like it was last season, even though some of the tracks probably going to be different this year because I always
still waiting, anxiously waiting.
Right, still waiting. So we haven't got the word on that, but normally they switch them up. Now it might be the same. We don't know, but even if they do switch them up, what is your goals? I already know what your goal is. That was a dumb question. You're going to win the title. Y'all heard it here first.
That's like the big goal, but you have to have like other
little
goals in case the big goal doesn't happen.
So what are those for you going into 2026?
Like you said, I know the bike better, a lot better, especially after the last two rounds, just building confidence on that. I know some of the tracks. I imagine some of them will overlap. They try to change up one or two if they can, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll know some of the tracks. That helps. That's an advantage. But yeah, the biggest advantage, I think, going in, the bike and just the rhythm of the race weekend, how everything runs. Barber was like drinking from the fire hose. We rehearse everything. We ride at training, all this stuff, but you can't really prepare yourself for gritting up like that. People are watching you. Things like you have to get that all out of your head. I think I'll be a lot less nervous from that perspective, that aspect. Now my nerves will be I have this expectation that I should be on the podium. Like I should be there. I should be fighting for it every time. So I'll be nervous, but differently nervous. You don't know who's going to come into the program. You don't know what we're going to get. I'm ready to put up a fight, though. And I hope I'm at least in the running for the championship, but we'll see how it goes.
Listen, absolutely you will. And speaking of, there's 6 new girls coming in.
6, I think, is what they said they're going to try to take. Yep.
So the other 6 girls, obviously you got track experience with. So out of the 6 that's left behind, who do you see your biggest competitor? Just speaking right now, the 6 from the unknown 6 that's coming in.
Of the returning girls or
the returning girls.
So there's 4 total returning girls. It got all skewed, remember? I know like the math didn't. It used to be 6 and then 6. And then the one year some girls didn't come back. So it was 8 new girls the one year, 4 new girls last year. So it was 4 of us coming back. Biggest competition of the returning girls, I gotta say it might be Tachi. She's actually my roommate during all this. She's one of the Brazilians. If you haven't followed Tachi, I think she says it, Paze. She's fast. I know she has it in her, but she was learning how to race, not just that bike, but how to race in general this season. So I know she's got some speed in her. And if she's comfortable next year, she's coming for me.
And then you got Bryanna Cutler too,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Bryanna Cutler, Everett.
Brianna. We're both Brianna.
Bryanna.
We've
I
covered
know.
it. Yeah,
She
yeah.
corrects me on the same thing too.
Oh
She's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just me, right? But yeah, she's going to be stiff competition too. She's super
Yep.
excited about the new season coming up.
I think all four of us that at that last round just turned it up a notch. So it's like, okay, we got this. We have to at least intimidate the new girls. Yeah.
I want to take it back to Azra at Champions at Daytona real quick. So my buddy Dan Spalding, that's actually been commenting. So me and my buddy Kenny ran into him Friday night. It's always an honor to see Dan. And he told me straight up, he's like, "You're going to interview me on Sunday because I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna win the race." Yes. And I was like, "Bro, let's go!" Right? And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. I'm watching him take off. I'm like, after the second lap, I was like, "Bro, he absolutely got it in the bag. There's no question." So, and when I interviewed him, I was like, "Damn, when we spoke on Friday, you told me he was going to win this race." It was such an amazing weekend. Hanging out with all my friends. It was
He races a ZX4 also, so I get a lot of insight from him. Apparently, he's not threatened by me, so he'll help me out. So yeah, when he found out I had a mechanical, I couldn't ride it. He was like, "Oh, what races are you registered for? Maybe you can ride my bike." And I was like, "Ultralight super bike." He's like, I plan on winning that one. You can't have it for that one." And he did it. So.
Yes, he did. Job, Dan the man.
Way to represent.
Yeah, he's an absolute ripper, and he was like, he's actually the first ambassador of Pin the Gas podcast. So it's nothing but love for Dan out there. He's like, yeah, up there in Victory Lane, you can put stickers on my bike. I wish I had the time to throw the stickers on his bike. I didn't because I kept getting called in my headphones. Like, I have to get back to hot pit because the race is getting ready to start, and I had to, do all my grid sheets and all that. There's a lot of things that goes into commentating versus podcasting. I do all mine raw, live, and right off the top of the dome. It was just completely different, but it was a lot of fun to say the least. I met a lot of new friends too, like Amish Gam. Good meeting you this weekend at Daytona. Saka loved being interviewed by you 4 times. Listen, your son is an absolute proper legend. He's one of the future legends of our sport. He was truly amazing out there on that NSF 250R. He was an absolute ripper. I was so proud. Yes. And I'm so proud of you and your son. And listen, it was an absolute honor to interview him those 4 times too, man. So thank you again for all the love and support. My friend, you are proper mega for sure. Frank Saunders, man, it's always good to see you, man. Your commentary was great. Thanks, bro, for all the love and support. It's funny because he ran up to me. I was on pit wall, and he pulls out his phone for a photo. So I took this photo with him. He was, you are absolutely amazing. Oren Billick, man, what is up, my man? He says, great meeting you this weekend and doing my first post-race interview. Oren, it was an absolute honor of mine to do your first pace. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again in the future for sure. I look forward to it, man. It was an honor to see you, my friend. Reach out to me on social medias too, because I'm going to get you on my podcast. Same thing with Amish Gam, man, your son. I want to get him on my podcast, so hit me up. You got my number. I'm pretty sure I gave everybody my number. If I didn't. My Facebook took a shit that weekend. Like, I get up on Friday. They said my Facebook got deactivated. And I was like, I was shitting bricks. I was like, what the? It magically come back on, so we're good now. So. Yeah. Dan says, Chris, you were the best announcer. You know all of us and you know the sport. You did great and glad we're able to chat in Victor Lane. Wish Bryanna didn't break her damn bike.
It was an accident. I'm glad I didn't break myself in the process. At least there's that.
Facts, right? And then Khalil says, nah, Chris, we all know it's Jennings. Jennings is a good place. Absolutely. Yes, it was silent. Everybody was crickets. My God, Frank Saunders, parenting never stops. Listen, Frank, everybody knows during my podcast, my son comes in here once or twice, and it's always about the video game or a new Lego or just something he's building.
Today was about a sandwich.
Yeah, a sandwich, and it's cool, man. But it's being a dad to me is, I don't want to say it's the greatest job in the world, but it's the greatest feeling in the world. It changed me in so many ways. It made me a better person, a better human. It made my thought process completely different in the way I view things in life in general. So it's, I love my boy. It's funny, Bryanna, because when I go to the racetrack and they see me, the first thing 99.9% of people say is, where's Rossi? And I'm like, what am I, chopped liver now, right? But everybody loves my boy, and I love that. I love it because everybody, looks forward to see my boy, which is amazing. Billy Sane, what is up, my man? He says. He says, I wish I had known you had bike problems. I had a spare race ready. 4RR in the trailer in the case. I had transmission problems.
That's great.
Next time, right?
Next time. Now we know.
We'll go. We're coming to look for you, Billy, for sure.
We all need backup ZX4s, I guess. That's the answer.
And Billy Sane is the man. So let's go. Mark Sherman, what is up, my man? CFE in the house. Hey, whoop, whoop, you boy. Maria Cotton, those stickers better be installed for this weekend. Made sure they made it back to the trailer. Thank you so much for all the love and support. You are absolutely amazing. Again, if we didn't exchange number, hit me up, and we'd love to sit down and chat. Mark Sherman says you're ready to take Steve Day's job. Steve's a good mate of mine out there in the UK. So for those who don't know who Steve Day is, man, Steve is an absolute legend of announcer in the sport. MotoGP. Now he does BSB. Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. I'd love to commentate beside him one day. You never know.
Could happen. You never know.
You never know. Dan says they are in my truck. Bike's too dirty. LOL. That's all right. I'm getting more stickers made, so I'm gonna send them out to everybody when I see it. I have plenty more coming. So if you didn't get some, no worries. I got you. But on that point too, real quick, it's my boy Juju's birthday, Jillian Carrera. So happy birthday, buddy. Rocking the hat. I'm always rocking the hat. I got another hat. His dad, Michael Carrera, for those who don't know, he runs South Mini, Florida, Mini GP, SFL Mini GP out there in South Florida. I'm a huge fan of Mini GP, whether it's Jersey or South Florida. What they're doing for our sport is absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, that's where most of the future legends of our sport are coming from. Ella Dreyer, Avery Dreyer, Juju. Let's see, we got Mason in there. We got Cooper in there. We got Isaac Woodworth. We got I know I'm forgetting some of my friends, and they're probably going to text me like, bro, you didn't give me a shout out, right? But you know who you are. Man, I should, but I'd be reading it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, blah, blah, blah.
Making a lot of fast kids, and those kids don't stay kids forever. Not for long at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's great to have a program like that, because without it, a lot of them we wouldn't have them in our paddock right now. So very, very. So listen, we're getting ready to come up in the off season. What is your goals as far as training in the off season, since you have your first year under the belt with the GT 650? Yes, it's a heavier bike than the ZX 400RR. You got to ride it in a different manner to get the best out of it. So is your training going to be a little bit different approaching this season?
I don't think a lot of my training is I cycle a lot that's helped a lot this year. I don't think at any point I got tired in any of my 20-25 minute sessions. Like, that's, if you haven't tried it before, just get a bicycle, spin, do whatever you need to do. That's made a big difference. Training wise, over the off season, I want to stay consistent. Just because it's the off season does not mean I need to get lazy. I actually had lost 10 pounds throughout the season just from sheer doing things all the time. So keeping that off, maybe even more, whatever. Not that I'm trying to lose weight, but just the strength and the endurance you get from that. Just stay consistent. Big thing I'm going to do. So I'm in the South. I can pretty much ride year round. So we'll see if I get this back together. Have a lot of other bikes I could pick from in here. So maybe get one up and running or working, or do a couple track days here and there. We'll see. Once the schedule's out, I might try to sneak some of those tracks in if I can. But a big thing, mini bikes. I have a 100. I do a lot of the flat tracking on it just to kind of do a lot of that for my training. But just body position practice on the mini. I'm going to do a lot of that because that's my biggest weakness, and it's always been my biggest weakness riding. I get lazy. I become a lazy rider, and on the GT 650, you're going to drag hard parts in a second, and I experienced that a lot this season. So just body position practice in parking lots, wherever I can do it. That's a big part of my off-season plan.
100%. I'm a huge fan of training on mini bikes, whether it's a 50, whatever it is, a 100. You learn so much, it's speaking of dragging the bike on the GT 650, so you can't lean it over, obviously, like you can
There's
the
a limit.
4RR.
You're gonna find a limit way quicker.
Right. So now is it for you kind of the trick of like Danny Perdosa kind of style where as soon as you almost deck it out, kind of pick it up a little bit, but still staying leaned over to get it to help it turn? Because I know it's a heavy bike.
I think I look like Danny Pedrosa, No, I really, it's like just the basics. Get your butt off. Don't, that was the biggest thing. I wasn't even setting up right, let alone like taking it through the corner and pushing the bike up right. So just like getting used to exaggerating that. Because even if I exaggerated, I got really short legs. Like probably I'm dragging me way less than a lot of the tall people out there. Let's just lay that out there. But I'm still capable of it. I just get lazy with it. So just getting used to exaggerating it and not getting lazy at any point on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's I would find it maybe a little bit difficult coming off, but you've had experience obviously racing, and flat tracking to me flat tracking and endurance racing is the best way to train for motorcycles, period, hands down. The reason why I say flat tracking is because you're constantly fighting the grip level, the maximum grip, the front's going, the rear's growing, your throttle control, it's different body position, of course, but you're learning what the motorcycle is feeling and telling you. Right.
Yep.
And then
I noticed that a lot getting back into, because I kind of stopped road racing for a while, did flat track, nothing special in flat track. I'm not saying I'm amazing. No. I did not apply to the flat track program, but just the feeling of the bike moving around. The GT 650 does move around a bit. It's kind of a non-race bike that we made into a race bike. So like whatever settings you have, it's going to move a bit, and that doesn't freak me out. And I'm like, that must be from my flat track stuff, Like just go more throttle.
Absolutely. And was saying that, again, with the endurance racing, because let's say you and your husband are going to ride the 4RR, we basically set up the clip-ons and the rear sets for a happy medium for all three of us. Right. But when we're out there racing, I have to adapt my style to get the best out of the bike, not so much make the bike adapt to me, so to speak. Right. But learning those skills, it translates to when you get on a bike that's set up specifically for you and you go faster, right? And that it feels easier because it's more comfortable, but it's great skills to have along the way for sure.
To that point, if you try to set up your bike fast enough, that was one of the biggest learning curves this year with Moto America rounds. You don't have a track day right before the race weekend to figure stuff out and set your bike up. You have a 20-minute session. Then you're doing a 20-minute qualifying. Then one more 20-minute qualifying. If you haven't figured it out yet, you're going to be way back on the grid. That's what I kept doing. So that, like, getting the setup right quick, but then also being able to adapt, because realistically, you're not going to have everything perfect that first session, or maybe even that second session.
Oh, for sure. And then hopefully you kept notes of all the tracks you went to with your gearing and suspension settings.
I have notes this year, so at least if I have a repeat track, I'd have somewhere to start.
You got a great base setup, right? At least, which is smart. It really is. And I'm sure that's probably something they encouraged you girls to do too as well. Yeah.
Yep, and everyone has their own style of how they approach their notes and everything. And
of course,
Dawson, my mechanic, always made fun of me for constantly checking suspension, constantly thinking about suspension. That's like my biggest. I don't know it very well, so I'm constantly checking it, tweaking it, trying something. So, but I have all those notes and I'm ready.
I love it. Suspension is one of those black art kind of things anyway. It is simple from a simple thinking of it as simple way. You rebound, you preload, blah, 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 blah. But then, I feel like it's easy to get lost in that whole translation of, oh, my suspension's this, my suspension's that. It's like a lot of times when you get in a corner and you feel the front pushing, right? And it's got to be the front. It's got to be the front. Most of the time it's your rear. The rear is what's causing the front to push, right? So it's those little tricks.
Balancing act, and it never ends. You're still playing.
Very much a balancing act.
Just because you like this doesn't mean this person will like that. It's all different. Black 100%.
Magic. 100%. So let me ask you this. Have you thought about what you're doing after this year as far as BTR goes? After 2026 is over and you're out of BTR, have you put any thought into that at all?
I will always race something. I know that. I mean, I've been racing for 13 years now, I think. Like different versions of racing, different whatever I could get my hands on. So I'll keep racing. There is my husband and I 2-year anniversary. We talk about starting a family. We'll see. It depends on the timing. So kind of depends on how quickly that happens. I do, though, want to make sure that I can go to the Arma Barber Vintage Festival next year. So, I'll be waiting. So that's part of my season is how I'm looking at it. I hope it works out that I can get the bike in time and do all that. I want to race with those girls. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Barber's a track I've never been to. It's on my bucket list for next year. I want to go to. I'm gonna skip Mid Ohio and go to Barber for sure. I've been to Mid Ohio.
It's beautiful.
2 times.
It's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, it is. It's what everybody tells me. And I don't want to go. I don't know necessarily I'm gonna go for the Moto America round. I want to go for the Vintage Fest. That's where I want to go. I want to go for the blowout, the parties, the riding, the chaos, all the race action. That's what I want to go for.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. We're almost an hour into this, man. It goes by so quick. It does. But no worries, because I'm going to have her on many times this year coming up. Matter of fact, just down with me as always when we end this, and we'll go ahead and schedule our next one. But, before I let you end the podcast again, I just got to say, man, I felt so loved this weekend. And I appreciate it. I really do. I say it all the time on my podcast. It wasn't for Bryanna and everybody else come on here, I would not be able to do this. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you guys and girls out there, and kids that I met too as well. I get teared up a lot of times when I just think about it. I want to do it now because I feel it coming. It's an absolute honor. Again, it's something
for me at least, but we appreciate a platform to tell our story a little bit. You see people racing, you don't really know who they are. This is a great way to just chat, have people get to know you, and interview practice definitely helps. I did a lot of that this year. I'm still not super comfortable all the time, so this definitely is good practice.
I can't tell it. You're killing it right now.
I feel like I'm doing a lot better than last time. I was so nervous last time.
Well, that, and that's part of the reason why when I go to the races, I don't have my phone out and I'm doing videos all the time, because I like these personal interactions. I get to see with my friends and, establish that friendship and that trust between us. So when we do sit down on camera, it's natural, right?
Easier.
It's easier. I want it to be easy on everybody. And I think it makes a difference for sure. Would I like to just walk? I wouldn't even like to walk around with my camera out the whole time doing videos, because I don't get to see you guys and girls very much. Usually just at the races or track days and live in the moment. I say it all the time. You got to live in that moment, right? So on that note, you decide to go to VR for a track day, shoot me a text, give me a call. You got my number. I will meet you and your husband out there, and this guy too, right here, right?
Probably. And
right. And there, I can do my gimbal then, because it's a club race weekend. We can do a little live video then and there, right? Hang out, cook out, throw some burgers. I'll cook while you guys are out doing your thing. We'll have a lot of fun with it.
Sold.
I got you. Trust me. We'll have a lot of fun that weekend. But listen, I'm going to leave it to Bryanna to end this podcast. But again, thank you guys and girls so much for all the love and support. If you had not yet and had not subscribed on all my formats, please hit that bell, that ding ding, the TikToks, all that crazy stuff with it. One more shout out I want to give. Of course, I give a lot of shout outs. I can stay here for 20 minutes. All my friends know who you are in the sport that I fully support. Venom, 64 Degree Racing, Chef Eats, BTR, Sports Bike Track Deal, KYT Helmets, REB Graphics, GRG Designs, which is Gus Rodeo, Drippin' Wet, Stick Boy, Pit Lane Moto, TBEX, USA Experience, CW Moto. I'm gonna stop here in a second because I can keep going on. But I met Kay Clay. You were absolutely amazing. She does photography and she also does paint. So it was an absolute honor to meet you and your boyfriend down there at the race this weekend. So yeah. Oh, one more thing. And I said this at Daytona. Anybody's looking for anything, please keep it in the sport. Don't order that shit off of Temu, Amazon, Target, none of that shit. Keep it within the industry. If you need anything, I don't care if it's boots, gloves, chains, sprockets, spark plugs, filters, whatever it is, hit me up. I know so many people in the industry. I can point you in the right directions and get all your parts you need and you keep it within the sport. And on top of that, big shout out to all the corner marshal workers out there. All you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Without you, we would not be able to do this, along with the Road Racing World Air Fence Fund. Please go to that and donate. It's imperative that we have that too. And if anybody's interested in being a corner marshal worker next year, whether it's a club race, whether it's Moto America, whether it's MotoGP in Texas, I know the direct guy. I can put you direct contact with it. You get signed up and go out there and get the best seats in the house and have a proper mega weekend. And on that note, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to leave it to my friend Bryanna Everitt to end the podcast. Tell them where they can. Are you getting any merch this year? I know we talked about it last time.
I do. We do have merch. So my husband and I, his name's Josh. I'm Bryanna. We kind of call ourselves for BJ Racing Speed Shop. We don't really have like an official thing, but we try. We're trying to be a little professional. But we do have a Shopify shop. We have a lot of merch on there. So I have some Bree items. Look at my little koozie. He's a artistic, photographer, graphic design type person. So he makes a lot of fun stuff. He kind of got addicted to it. So always like churning out new t-shirts, new koozies, everything. So I have a little line of Bree stuff. So check it out. You could get the links on my Instagram, Bree since '93. Kind of aging myself with that one, but that's okay. But yeah, check out our merch. And if it's all right with you, I want to thank some of my personal sponsors.
Absolutely. Obviously,
BTR and Royal Enfield. I would not even be on here without them. We have a lot of sponsors tied in with them. But what we don't really get to talk about a ton in the program all the time is my personal sponsors. So I have my suit behind me, sort of. It might be cut off with the circle thing. But we had to buy our own suits. That is a big question that some people ask us. Not a big deal. Just come with the suit and they kind of give you everything else. But I have some personal sponsors that help me pay for that suit. So I want to thank Scooters Bar and Grill. I know, it's awesome. I'm sponsored by a bar. Pro Auto Shop. It's a local auto shop in Columbia, South Carolina, where I'm from. I got Sky Pirate Aviation. A friend of mine has a flight school, which is crazy. So he sponsored me this year. On Track Nutrition. So they're actually racers themselves. So if you have not heard of them, they're based out of Iowa, I think. Hopefully I'm not quoting that wrong, but she makes a bunch of like health drinks and things like that. So she's kept me fueled all year. And then Hightail Hair. So if anyone's ever seen me put my gear on, I do it backwards. I put my helmet on first because I tuck my hair in, and it's awesome. So check out all of those. And then BJ Racing Speed Shop's also in my suit, but that's just me paying for the rest of my suit. That's it. But yeah, I could not have done it without them. So thank you so much to my personal sponsors this year.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, it's always an honor to have you on the podcast. I look forward to many more. Just down with me for a minute. We'll go ahead and schedule our one for 2026, man. It's weird to say, right? It's gone and gone. But listen, everyone, it used to take to the next day for this to come out. It'll actually probably be out within the hour. It'll be out everywhere, Spotify and all that. And you guys and girls stay tuned because I have the legend and my friend Tyler Scott coming on the podcast. Team Hammer. Let me get this right. Team Hammer, M4, Escar, Suzuki. I think I got it right. Yes. So I got him coming back on the podcast tomorrow. So you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna put the post out here after I eat dinner, and I gotta run Rossi to the store.
Hey, you have a sandwich to eat.
I got a sandwich to eat. So, and I'm hungry, and I'm gonna go eat this sandwich for sure. So listen. Absolute honor to have you on, and thank you guys and girls so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as me and her did, and we will see you soon. On that note, is there anything you want to say before we end this?
I don't think so.
Well,
I think I'm good.
Thank you,
everyone. It's been awesome. Thank you, Chris, for having me. As always, it's fun.
Absolutely. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. All right, let me end it.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.